to Mariano's Meetups. I'm Amanda Puck with Mariano's, and I'm excited to be here with you tonight. I have Sarah Lutz here with me as well from the team, and she's going to help us moderate. During this crucial time of social distancing and sheltering in place, we decided to launch this online platform for us all to get together for cooking tips, wine tastings, mixology lessons, live music, kids concerts, and trust me, there's more to come. This series really provides the Mariano's experience, but just in a very virtual way. Tonight, it's Wine Wednesday with our friend and tastemaker, Belinda Chang. And we have a special guest, Chef Brine Jupiter from Frontier and Ina May's Tavern and Packaged Goods. And we are so excited about tonight's theme, which is fried chicken and bubbles. So we're gonna talk about that in a few minutes. Belinda is an award-winning wine and lifestyle expert. She lives here in Chicago. We're actually neighbors, but unfortunately I can't see her in real life. But I'm looking forward to when I can. She shops our stores, and she knows a lot of tips and secrets like why fried chicken and bubbles is the perfect combination. So she's gonna let us know why. And Brine Jupiter, we're so lucky to have him tonight because he's been very busy doing takeout and delivery for his restaurants, and he's feeding a lot of people also. He did an event last night where he was helping those affected by COVID-19. He's known for his work with his exotic meats. I love personally his grilled oysters and his fried chicken, and we're lucky enough to have him here tonight to give us some tips on how to make the perfect fried chicken at home. Just a few reminders: you need to be 21 and over. There is a chat button right in the middle of your screen. Feel free to use it. We love questions. Please ask us anything, but be kind because this is a positive place during this time for us all to get together virtually, and we will remove you from the room if we don't see that behavior. On that note, also we're taping tonight. So on the bottom left of the screen, there's a video icon. If you don't want to be recorded, turn it off because we do want to post this for customers to look at after. So without further ado, we're featuring two really great wines tonight, Chandon Brut and Moet and Chandon Imperial to pair with Mariano's fried chicken and Brine Jupe's fried chicken. So we're really excited to get the tasting going, and I'm gonna throw it to Belinda.
Hi, thank you so much. So first I wanted to thank everyone for hanging out with us this evening. I have only one hard and fast rule. I will drink pretty much anything just to taste it out of educational needs. I will also try any kind of food at least once, but there's one thing that I will not do, and I will not drink alone. So if everybody wants to raise a glass of whatever they're sharing with us today, I just wanted to give a toast to you for being here and taking care of yourself and your soul and your spirit, and not just lying in bed crying as I've been tempted to do in this very terrible time. But thanks to people like you, I'm not doing that. So this is a little bit of sparkling wine, and I've got more, and we're going to share quite a bit about sparkling wine. As Peggy and some of the other people in the room might know, I did spend a year as a champagne educator, and I traveled all over the country and gave 3-hour Champagne 101 presentations filled with dancing and all kinds of stuff. But I don't know, Amanda, if people want any dancing today. Maybe
we can dance. I mean, after we taste everything and we see Brine, give us tips and we can start dancing.
Maybe we'll just stick to the facts this evening. So I'm so excited because this is one of my favorite producers in all of sparkling wine-dom. And maybe the first thing we should say is the Champagne people, the Champenois, do have a lot of lawyers. So you have to be very careful with what you call a champagne. And they would really strongly prefer that you only call a sparkling wine a champagne if it comes from that region in the northeast of France. So I'm told that all the kids in France learn that this is France. Does that look like France? And that Champagne is, up here somewhere, a little kind of north in a cooler climate and a beautiful region. And has anybody visited Champagne, the region, Reims or Epernay?
I actually just went in December, and it was actually the last trip that my husband and I took, and it was magical. And you could just see it. And I was lucky that I did get to go to Moet and Chandon and Clicquot and Dom Perignon. And it's like an amazing experience.
It's such a beautiful place. And if you're looking at Peggy right now, I just spotlight you, Peggy, because she is showing us just some of the beauty in Champagne. This is some of the caves. Is that Moet and Chandon's Crier, Peggy? So that is at Moet and Chandon, down deep, where it's very cool and all the bottles sleep very happily. But we're gonna start the story with Chandon because I want to drink that first. And I saved this bottle to open. So I see that some people are already drinking their sparkling wine or their champagne, and they have successfully opened that bottle without hurting themselves or hurting anyone else. But I will do this as a public service because we were talking about this earlier. I've read that there is a statistic that there's one champagne bottle opening accident that is fatal per year. So don't let that be you. So real quick, I'm just gonna go through the proper way to open a bottle of sparkling wine without hurting anyone. So as everyone might know, there's a little tab here on the bottle that you can lift up, and it will help you take off this little foil wrapper. And then the next step is here.
I felt like on the Chandon and the Moet, there's that, it's very easy.
Yeah. And so it just gets this little bit off. It's really easy. And then the next part is this tab here. And we have a statistic that tells us that a champagne bottle cork contains 9 atmospheres of pressure in a bottle, which is the equivalent of a double-decker bus tire. So if this does pop out, you can break things. And I think in my book, Sommelier, that I'll write before it's all over, I'll tell you about the story where I popped a cork, it ricocheted off a ceiling. It then bounced into a very expensive glass of red wine and got a new Versace, a white Versace suit, irreparably stained. Not cute. So you always want to have something holding onto the bottle, and then you want to catch the cork as it comes out and experience, mine was a little loud, sorry. It should be a whisper to preview the deliciousness that's going to be poured into your glass and into your bottle. So this is the Chandon from California. And you have a lot of choices when it comes to drinking champagne in terms of glassware. There are coupes, which most of the serious winemakers don't really love. I love them because they're very small and I don't want to share a lot of my champagne. So don't be offended if you come to my house and I give you a little 3-ounce coupe. It's because I'm trying to slow you down a little bit. Some of these really beautiful glasses that we have at home from producers like Riedel hold up to 3/4 of a bottle and sometimes an entire bottle of champagne. So while they will make the sparkling wine taste very delicious, Mark's clapping, he knows. He's been to an event at my house where we were consuming probably a bottle every 2 minutes or so. So these great glasses will really give you the opportunity to get in there, get your nose in there, appreciate all the aromas, and really appreciate the full extent of the beautiful winemaking in a champagne or in a sparkling wine. So I vote for this kind of glass if you've got it and you don't mind your friends using your nice glassware. If you don't, this will work. This will slow them down. So this is actually called a Burgundy glass, is sort of the traditional shape. And they typically pour Chardonnays and Pinot Noirs into Burgundy glasses. So these are 2 of the 3 grapes that they use to make this Chandon. So this is going to be a great way to enjoy this sparkling wine, this method traditionnel. So I'm going to put my nose into it after giving it a little whirl and adding in a little oxygen. One of the beauties of these styles of sparkling wine and champagne is they age them for quite a bit. So you don't have to have that thought, you know, sometimes you buy a big bottle of red wine and you think, wow, should I wait? Is it going to be better if I wait for it? These winemakers, these chefs de cave always do all the aging for us. So they're always ready to go when you see them on the shelves at Mariano's. You just grab, you go, you open, you drink. You don't have to share if you don't want to. And I'm not sharing this one because I can't, sorry, it's all mine. So Chandon is a really great and unique proposition and winery. This group, they call all of their wineries the maison, which is kind of a beautiful way to refer to everything. I love everything in French when you're talking about wines. You know, when you smell a New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc, you say cat's pee. Doesn't sound so nice, but in French, you would say, oh, peut de pipi du chat. That sounds a lot nicer. So we love to use the French terms when we're describing these wines. And we call the winery at Chandon and also at Moet and Chandon the Maison. So Chandon was founded in 1973, a really great year. And they've been growing Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, and also Pinot Meunier is the third grape they use to complete the blend to make a bottle of Chandon sparkling wine. And there's Blanc and there's Rosé and everything in between. And I love these wines so much. I don't know. I should stop talking for a minute and have some, right, Amanda? I mean,
I already did. Sorry.
The whole education thing is slowing my roll.
Well, you know, I think a lot of people like don't really, you know, like you explained it earlier, Champagne's from Champagne, but, you know, there's sparkling wine from all over the world called different.
All over the world. I think it's really fun. These days, a lot of people will either use that Champagne method, they'll use that technology, which is a few centuries old. If you think about it, they've been making sparkling wines in the Champagne region in Northeast France for centuries. But a lot of people have taken those techniques, and Moet was a real big influence on educating people all over the world and making wines in this traditional style. So there's Cava in Spain, there's Prosecco in Italy. They don't do it that way, though. We like the way the Moet people do it and how they taught everyone to do it. But there are great sparkling wines from all over the world. Gruet in New Mexico makes a great one that we really love. But I think in these wines where these are real artisans, I like to say it's sort of the difference between, you know, Balenciaga for H&M, which is great. You get Balenciaga style, but at a really nice price versus, you know, a couture Dior gown, which took, you know, I don't know, an army of seamstresses and 10,000 hours to sew. Champagne to me is really couture. And also these method, champenoise and method traditional wines are kind of like couture when it comes to wine. So does anyone have a traditional method sparkling wine in their glass right now? Deb and Scott, what are you guys drinking up in the corner? Can we hear you?
Oh wait, we have to unmute Deb McGowan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hold on.
Are you drinking something?
We're about to do a Gruet, just a Gruet Rosé. We love.
Oh, perfect. Good. So we're in the same family there. So Chandon, like I said, uses the three traditional grapes. So Chardonnay and Pinot Noir and Pinot Meunier, and each of those grapes gives kind of a different composition and a different contribution to the blend. So these amazing people who make these traditional method sparkling wines are also kind of like those noses at the parfum companies, right? They have to be really incredible in crafting a blend to make a very delicious whole. So they like to say that the Champagne grape, the grapes, those three grapes all give a different contribution. The Chardonnay and Moet especially gives a lot of finesse and sort of elegance for those of us who love to drink Chardonnay, Amanda, and some of the others in the room there. The Pinot Noir, which is, as everyone knows, is kind of a darker skinned grape and one that usually makes red wines, gives a little bit of body and richness. And then the Pinot Meunier, the third grape that we don't see quite as often bottled by itself, can give spice and suppleness and also texture to the blend. So I used to have a thing in Champagne trainings where I would say, tell me the Champagne that you really love, and I will tell you who you are in your soul, because all the different champagnes use kind of a different blend and focus on different characteristics from different grapes to make the wine. The same for sparkling wines like Chandon. So I think we're going to find a little difference because I'm going to chug this, although we usually only chug when someone says, can you hear me, right? Have you all played Zoom?
I think we've changed it. Like yesterday it was, if you ask whoever asks a question, then we have to drink, or yeah.
So a lot of these virtual happy hours have sort of drinking games. And if somebody says, can you hear me or am I muted, then everyone has to drink. But, you know.
I know where Bailey keeps asking if we can hear her because she wants to drink. So
maybe she was. So to me, this beautiful Chandon Brut, where all the grapes are grown in California, is not only a beautiful product and an artisan made product, but it also has a really great expression of what happens in California versus what happens in Champagne, which we'll talk about in a minute. And we'll also talk about this amazing process, which is like building a couture gown, what it takes to make a bottle of champagne. And it's also because it's like a little less serious, although certainly a lot of serious people make it and there's a lot of technique. This is the one to use for cocktails. Does anybody have the Royale, Jean? out there, or Mark does. So I have this thing where any cocktail I think is better royaled, right? I love a Negroni, but you can always kind of take the bite off a Negroni a little bit by adding a little sparkling wine on top. Maybe many people here have had a Kir Royale cocktail before, which is sparkling wine with a little bit of creme de cassis. So, you know, I've definitely taken just about every cocktail I've ever had. And if I saw any Chandon or any Moet handy, topped it up to see if I could make it better. And I'll tell you what, in this drinker, heavy drinker, often frequent drinker, educated drinker's opinion, royaling every cocktail is a really fantastic way to go. So Chandon is the one that you can stock in your cooler. I think it's fantastic for everyday drinking, and it's also great to make a cocktail even better.
Yes,
and
Annika loves Kir Royales. Sam and Brandon Diaz love French 75s, which is a great classic cocktail.
Love all of those. And also, you know, you can use them on punches if you do that little party trick that you don't have to be doing all this mixology stuff for one person at a time. You make a big punch, and then as everyone arrives, you pour the Chandon or the sparkling wine on top. That's a really fun way to make it super festive. So this is a really fun wine, but I don't know about you. I'm ready to move on to the champagne. And I'm super excited. Oh, I just did sexy lighting. Okay, we're back. So this is Moet Imperial, which, right, they started making this champagne centuries ago, and it's an illustrious family and a very illustrious name. And again, they're using those three grapes, the Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, and Pinot Meunier. So one traditional white wine grape, two traditional red wine grapes in almost equal proportions, although a little skewed towards a little lower on the Chardonnay contribution. So you can get something that's a little richer than some of the other producers, which I think.
Spotlighting Peggy for a minute because her photo is actually in front of the Maison.
Didn't they build that building for Napoleon? Because Napoleon was really good friends with the Moet family. So has everybody done or seen a saber fail, or actually successfully sabered a bottle of champagne? I see the McGowans giving us the thumbs up on that. So that's that little party trick, although people from Moet and all the responsible people who are in the champagne business will tell you that cut-proof gloves and some glasses, just like the masks and the gloves, are recommended if you're going to try this for the first time, because it involves glass and very sharp knives. So the mythology goes that Napoleon's troops would come rolling through the beautiful scene in Champagne, and they'd be very thirsty and stride horses, and maybe like a little too busy to have to fool around with the closures and to try to get those bottles open. So they would just whip out their swords and sabrage, right? Another great French term, the bottle. So you might have seen that. I mean, there's some epic YouTube videos of news personalities trying to do it and dropping bottles and spilling champagne all over them. But you know, I'm available for training.
That could be another class, but everyone has to be outside for sabering.
That's right, for sure. I mean, you could do it off your terrace. No, don't do that. It's dangerous, very dangerous, and only done under proper supervision. But so Moet is one of the oldest marks, and obviously the best known in all of the world. A lot of people sort of equilibrate Moet with celebration. You know, no matter who you are, if you drink or you don't, you say the word champagne and people are usually referring to Moet and Chandon, and they're always thinking about something that is for celebration or for a magical moment. So it's pretty exciting to have this bottle in my hand. And here's maybe the best thing. They make this 187 milliliter format called the Moet Mini. So I see these when I'm traveling, you know, at the bars and things like that. And they also make this very glamorous thing. I don't know, does it have a name? I don't know what it's called, but it's the drinking.
It does have a name. I'm gonna unmute Peggy.
Okay. Peggy, what do we call this thing? I love it. It's so good.
Oh wait, I didn't, hold on. I thought I did it.
Well, while you're unmuting, Peggy, I'm going to put it into my 187. So if you've ever watched sort of the Oscars red carpet or some of those very glamorous shows, and you see people with their little soda pop sized Moets, they're being very glamorous and celebrating with champagne. So you just put it directly into the bottle.
I think Peggy calls it a flute topper.
A flute topper.
Yes, flute topper.
It had a good name. That sounds fabulous. Flute topper. So I love these. And of course they make them in every size. I mean, who doesn't love to show up at a party where there's a 15-liter Nebuchadnezzar of champagne? Or, you know, it's really fun. The bigger, the better, as I believe with champagne. Always show up with a bigger bottle than everyone else, and everything is
small ones are just perfect for
fine.
Quarantine.
Yeah. So fun, because then you don't waste any, not that any champagne gets wasted at my home. I mean, if it's open, it's going to be consumed or used for a champagne sauce, which is really good too for cooking. So this little bottle has aged for over a year in those beautiful caves that Peggy showed us in her background, because a champagne goes through so many steps to get to here and then into my mouth. They not only have to grow grapes like everyone else does, some of the best and happiest Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, and Pinot Meunier grapes in the entire world, but they also then make hundreds of individual wines, just like the Chardonnays that we drink without bubbles, or the Pinot Noirs or the Pinot Meuniers. And then a master blender, a chef de cave, and a committee will sit down and taste hundreds of wines to blend something that tastes like this, and always tastes close to the same for us. So we know the style, and it's going to be consistent every time we get to have it. And I don't know, but I always order Moet when I see it on a list, because I know that it's going to be really consistent and really fantastic. And it's really interesting because this might be the toughest style of wine to make in the world, and certainly might employ all of the smartest people, because, you know, you meet an Italian winemaker in Tuscany, or you might meet a winemaker from Napa, and they might tell you, oh my gosh, it's been such a busy year. We made 10 different wines. You know, we had a big release this year. But you talk to someone in Champagne at a maison like Moet Imperial, and they will tell you, oh my gosh, it's been a really busy year. We made 600 different individual wines to find 100 or so to make the Imperial, and maybe, you know, many more to make the Rosé. It's a pretty incredible thing, and these people are unbelievably smart and talented to be able to manage this and to do it consistently every year for centuries. So I want to do a little toast to the people who make sparkling wine, and all of our friends in Champagne, and also in all of the wineries, because this is sort of a tough moment for them too, but they're still making sure that we have stuff like this to make all the days and nights a little easier. So cheers to the Champenois and the people at Moet de Chandon. So like I said, it's all of this detailed process to get it into the glass. So choose a really fantastic glass to enjoy the wine in. Like I mentioned last week, I'm using all of my nicest glasses because I'm by myself, and then if I break them, it's my fault. And I don't get upset. But I think the really great thing about opening bottles of champagne is they're remarkably successful at pairing with all kinds of different dishes and all kinds of different foods, because you have this blend of so many different base wines that have been beautifully sort of blended together. And that gives a lot of different flavor profiles and a lot of different aromas. So you have a really great chance that that wine, the end wine, the blend, is going to be pretty fantastic with just about any food that you throw at it. I've never had something where someone brought champagne as a pairing and I got mad. I don't know about you. I mean, if you get mad when people bring champagne to the table, we are probably not going to be friends after that. And, you know, it's okay.
Well, I think the most fun party you've had that at least I've been invited to was when we did the fried chicken and champagne tasting. So I think we all want to know, I mean, everyone talks about it as like a very classic pairing. So can you let us know why that?
So there are a lot of things that make fried chicken and champagne really perfect. So obviously fried foods are, well, we love them and they're so homey and they make us feel comfortable. I'm eating so much comfort food right now just to make myself feel brightness and light in this very dark time. So fried chicken obviously is fried. So it's going to have a little bit of grease or glycerin. And so the reason why champagne or sparkling wine is really fantastic with that is it sort of cleanses that out of your mouth. So bite of fried chicken and then that cleansing acidity and also the cleansing from the scrubbing bubbles in the champagne, if you will, is always a really fantastic match. You know, my mom makes shrimp toast, amazing with champagne. People do lumpia and egg rolls and all that kind of stuff. Super fantastic with champagne. But I also love that with fried chicken, you have kind of the meat portion. And, you know, I've done a million dishes and pairings where Chardonnay goes with the chicken dish. And so you have the Chardonnay there. And if you choose to make it a little richer, I love Brian's recipe and I can't wait to make it because it's got spice. Champagne, Moet and Chandon handles spice, and the Chandon does as well. It handles spice really beautifully because I know I put a half a cup of hot sauce into something back there to brine my chicken. So, you know, you want something that can have that cleansing acidity. And for Mariano's, I have, in addition to being excited to make a chef's dish, I have the honey wings. I also have the boneless barbecue wings, and I have the spicy chicken. And there's not one of those that you could throw at this Moet and Chandon champagne that it wouldn't be able to handle. It can handle the spice. It can handle a little bit of the glycerin and the richness. You can do dark meat, white meat. It's just a classic pairing. I've been to a lot of fried chicken and champagne parties. I've thrown quite a few with bathtubs filled with ice and everybody bringing champagne and a lot of different fried chickens. But I will say, Amanda, the one we had together maybe a couple years ago, where everybody brought their own favorite brand or style of fried chicken, and we tasted them all blind. And
Yes.
You brought your Marianos. We had, you know, a lot of the really popular ones in town. We didn't have Brian's in that mix, but man, that Mariano's did pretty well. I mean, it was
Great.
amazing.
Yeah, it was. And I have some ready to go, and I know you have some there.
Sure do. So excited. I was going to try to tell everyone that I made it, but then I forgot I put your bucket there. So all of these are going to be super fun. I'm going to do the Chandon Brut with some of the richer styles, like the boneless wings, I think, with that barbecue sauce.
Right.
So the honey is going to be really fun with the Chandon. And then I'm going to save the Moet and Chandon from France, from Champagne, for the regular, the straight up fried chicken, because I think that's going to be a really great match. And then you guys also have this fun stuff for chicken and waffles. There's little Belgian waffles and all kinds of fun little waffles.
Those are also really good just as snacks. So if you see those in the bake, oh, those are, yeah, they're fun.
This is fantastic with champagne and looks like some of the crunchy cookies that you find in Rems as well. And then you can add things with a little bit of sweetness for the champagne pairing too. Whereas Moet is quite a dry style. They do what we call a lower dosage. You know, some people are very concerned about sugar and things like that, but it does have a little bit of dosage, which is the little liqueur they add. They call it at the end of the process before they cap it. So you can definitely do a little honey with the waffles, with the chicken. And I think that'll be a really fantastic moment. I'm gonna have all kinds of fantastic moments here. Me and
and we can't wait to watch you cook along with Brian Jupiter. Brian, how's it going over there at Ina Mays? You're unmuted. How's it going over there at Ina Mays?
What's happening?
Oh, we're so happy to have you, Jupe. Thanks for being here tonight.
I appreciate you all having me. Excited to make some fried chicken.
Yeah, we need tips. I will say, for some reason, I'm like terrified to fry things. I don't know why. I guess growing up, I didn't really do it that often. So I really need tips. I want to learn. I'd love to learn how to make my own fried chicken when I can't get it from you or Mariano's.
Yeah, it's a pain in the butt frying at home because it's so messy, you know. And so, I mean, air fryers are like a godsend. You know, like they're not messy. They're healthier. And you can still get some really good crispy chicken out of air fryers as well. So that's always an option too.
All right, so we did share your recipe with everyone here. So, and I know Belinda is getting ready to do, I'm looking at everyone's comments. I see Bill Kim just said that, Yvonne, everything's fried.
I know. I saw that. What up, Bill?
Tips and tricks, because that recipe does look great, and I think what I really liked about it was that it did have like very traditional elements, but then there's a lot of spice and like hot sauce and all that.
Yeah, give me some volume on your phone. Yeah, for sure. No, it's very versatile. You know, you can add a little cornmeal to that and use it for fish, use it for seafood as well. And so, yeah, I think the recipe itself can go a long way. You know, we sell a lot of fried chicken at Anime, and so we make this in very big batches, you know, and so it's something that you can make in a larger amount and kind of keep it in the pantry area and use it as needed.
All right, sounds
yeah,
good.
I want to get to mixing some of our stuff. Is that cool?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, so like one of the major things about fried chicken is that it needs to be like marinated or brined some way. And some people like the saltwater brines. Some people go with the buttermilk angle, which is what we're doing here. Pickle juice is another one that people use. So you just wanted to start to break down the chicken, and it's going to give you a juicier product after it's fried. And it's going to give you some good salt content as well, depending on what you put in your brine. And so this recipe, we're doing buttermilk. At Ina May, we do buttermilk. It works well for us over there. We love it, and people love the chicken. So I just mixed together some buttermilk, some salt, some pepper, and a little bit of hot sauce. And so the hot sauce is a preference thing. And so I like Louisiana hot sauce because I'm from New Orleans. But if you have a different hot sauce that you prefer, go for it. Spice level is up to you as well. If you want to add a little bit more, then add it. But one thing to be careful with when using hot sauce or vinegars in brines is that it starts to cook the meat. And so if you leave it in there for 2 days, it's going to start to change the texture. And so when you have hot sauce, I like to let that be no more than a 24-hour type of deal. All right, so we got salt, pepper, we got some hot sauce, and then we add our chicken. And so we have here, we just have some wings, we have some thigh, and so obviously it works with any cut of the chicken. The only thing that's going to be different is how long you actually fry it. And so this, we're just tossing, and you really can't see from this angle, but we just toss it right into that marinade and let it sit. And so I'm gonna set that to the side, but I also have.
Hold it up. Can you hold up?
Yeah, I got you. I'm trying to see how I could make it to where you see this without spilling it everywhere.
Maybe like tilt your.
Oh,
Nice, we can see it.
all right. All right. And so we're gonna set that to the side, and we start with our dredge. And so, like I said, your dredges. They can be composed of a bunch of different things. And it's always gonna be dry spices, obviously. In this particular one, we have a little bit of oregano, some dried basil, some salt, some pepper, some paprika, onion powder, garlic powder, some cayenne pepper, paprika. So it's a bunch of different spices. You could also opt to go with just like a pre-made Cajun spice or like seasoned salt that kind of has a lot of those things in it, and mix that with your flour and your cornstarch mixture.
Brian, a few people want to know what hot sauce do you use? What's your favorite?
I use Louisiana hot sauce.
Oh, that's my favorite one too.
Yeah. Good flavor, the right amount of heat. Like a lot of people like the burn your booty hot sauce,
Yeah.
But I just think it doesn't really serve that great of a purpose other than that.
Chef, I have a question too for the brine timing. So you said you have to be careful to not brine for too long. On this recipe, you said 4 hours. Is that like ideal? Do you feel like?
Yeah, 4 hours is ideal. But overnight is great. You know what I mean? Like, this is if you just, okay, I decided early in the morning I'm gonna fry some chicken, and then I'm brining it for 4 hours.
Gotcha.
But if I know and I'm prepared, then I'll let it go overnight, and it's just gonna break it down just a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
What's too long? Too long is 3 days. So I'm just reading on my screen there,
Oh, I know, it's great, isn't it? That sounds like my kind of morning, waking up and saying, oh, today I'm going to make some fried chicken. And
Yeah, you got to dream about this stuff. All right, so we have all of our dry stuff in. You do want to make sure it's fully incorporated, just because you don't want to have pieces of chicken that are a little bit more seasoned than others. Keep in mind salt content with your dredge, because you have hot sauce and you have some seasoning in your marinade. So to avoid over salting, we want to just make sure that you follow that recipe part when it comes to the salt and pepper. Oil. Now, you can do many different types of oil when it comes to fried chicken. Here at the restaurant, we're using a soybean blend. So it's canola oil, soybean oil. But some people go straight up peanut oil. With a lot of people being allergic, you know, a lot of restaurants have gone away from peanut oil. But the life of the oil on peanut oil is a lot longer than a lot of your other oils that you use. You never would fry in like an olive oil. A couple reasons. The oil will burn up very fast on you, and it's expensive. You know, so you know, it's really no point in using something like an olive oil. So a straight up vegetable oil, canola oil, a blended oil, all of those work.
What does the cornstarch do? Jennifer Perkins, Dara.
Cornstarch. All right, so cornstarch is the trick to the crispy. And so adding cornstarch to your dredges for fried foods is going to give you a crispier product. I also like to use potato starch as well. Will give you a nice crispy dredge. So yeah, it's like the secret weapon of fried chicken. So you're welcome.
Oh,
all right, so now we're gonna.
Yvonne want to know if they can come pick up chicken tonight. Is it too late to order for pickup?
Nope, we still frying chicken over here. Fryer's still going. So. All right, and so now we're gonna just dredge our chicken. And so you always wanna, just to keep your hands, you know, clean throughout the process of dredging product. You always want to keep one hand for your wet item, one hand for your dry. So I have some chicken thigh here going into the dry, a wing going into the dry, and then I just like to just toss it. Another thing would be those Ziploc bags or any type of plastic bag work really well as well. I remember growing up, this was before grocery store bags cost 7 cents. But my mom used to always fry chicken, and she used like a grocery store bags, you know, and throw the flour in there and shake it up. So you just want to have something that will hold all your dredge, and then allow whatever you're trying to fry to get fully covered in it. So.
Jeff, how hot should the oil be at this point? Because you're
Right,
preheating
so
the oil there, right?
Yes. All right, so I fry chicken at about 310 degrees, so just a little bit over 300. And it is important that you don't have your oil too hot, because you're just going to end up with really dark chicken and raw in the middle.
That sounds terrible.
Yeah, so Belinda, you're doing more of a shallow fry?
Yeah.
Right? And that's nothing wrong with that at all. So I would go down just a touch with your oil, and I would fry in that shallow, go at about 300.
If you don't have a thermometer, how do you know? Like, how do you measure? How do you know?
Yes. No, I'm kidding. Well, you can take a little pinch of flour of your dredge and just sprinkle it into the oil. And if it's very hot, it's gonna like burn up pretty fast.
Good.
I like that, Bill. Marry a chef.
I know, right?
That works too.
Yeah, right. So once you sprinkle that little flour in there, you'll see. And if it goes crazy, then you just let it rest for a second, turn your heat down, give it a minute to come down. But it should always, even when you're frying the chicken, it should never be like this chaotic thing that's happening with your oil. You know, and that's another reason why people freak out with frying chicken and stuff too. because it pops on you, it goes crazy, you know. And so if it is going wild, then you did something wrong there. You got a little too much moisture still on your chicken. So once you come out of the dredge, when you're looking like this here, I like to just set it on a tray for a second. Just set it to the side out of the dredge. So, yeah, if you have something like this thing here or whatever.
Is that a sheet pan or like a cooking tray?
Yeah, just a little sheet tray, that's all.
That's a nice one. I like that one. Looks like white enamel or something.
What was that? I didn't hear you.
Real professional kitchen toys are the best.
I know, and we were saying earlier, we love how Jupe's kitchen is like so like shiny stainless steel, like super clean. It looks
So
gorgeous.
fabulous.
Look at Belinda go.
All right, that looks good, Belinda.
I got it, I'm ready.
All right, now. All right, so now we can fry. And I know that, I think you all can't really see my pot. Let me see if I can adjust some.
Uh-oh, they're gonna see mine and that's not good.
That looks really nice. I like your pan.
You're doing just fine. All right, so I'm frying out of a cast iron Dutch oven here.
Oh, wow.
And it just holds heat really well. Normally when I'm frying chicken here, I'm frying out of a big old deep fryer. So I figured I'd be cheating. So we're doing it in a pot like we would do at home. And so an important thing about frying chicken or frying any food at all is when you put it into your frying oil, always make sure you land it away from you. That way, as any splatter at all, it's not going to come back at you. It'll just be straight and back towards your backsplash of your stove.
Did he do it?
Yep, it went in. It's in.
We got it. That's it. You still want to see?
There goes Belinda. Woo! That looks exciting.
Yeah, remember that? See, that looks good. It's not going crazy.
Brian, it's
Right?
my first fried chicken ever.
That's what's up, man. You'll be frying chicken all the time.
No, I'm gonna come get it at Ina May's.
Yeah, I know. All right, so while your chicken is frying, get you a little plate or something with some paper towels, so something to drain your chicken once it is done.
So Jupe, you did like a full immersion fry. That's like, that's like legitimately like, but Belinda, I think I would be more comfortable doing like what Belinda's doing with like a shallow fry.
I'm sorry, say that again?
I feel like I'd be more comfortable doing what Belinda's doing with the more shallow fry.
Yeah, shallow frying is fine. Even with like pork chops, it works really well, a shallow fry. So the deep frying, I think, is a little bit more foolproof when it comes to knowing that you're fully cooked and that type of deal. But definitely shallow frying, like using less oil is obviously better, and so, yeah, there's nothing wrong with that at all. Belinda, what cut are you using, Belinda? What cut of chicken is that? Was that a thigh?
No, it's a chicken breast. And
Okay,
I didn't
yeah,
count
chicken
here
breast.
or anything. I just went for it because that's all I had.
Oh, for sure, I feel you.
It'll be okay, right?
No, you're totally fine.
Okay.
All right, so I'm looking at yours right now. So you see how your edges they're starting to get a little bit brown on the edge there?
Yeah. Should I flip
Let's
it?
flip that guy.
Okay.
Oh my God, we should do this all the time, Brian. We'll just zoom in when we're and tell us what.
Oh, so good.
Oh my God, that looks great, Belinda.
I did it. Maybe. We'll see. We don't know yet.
All right. Turn your heat down.
Okay.
Cool. Now, the reason why I told you to do that, right, is because your chicken breast is kind of thick.
Yeah.
And I want to make sure you're giving yourself enough time for it to be fully cooked.
Okay.
Okay. Now, you could always, once we get you to where you fried and you go to brown, you could always finish it off in the oven. But I think you're gonna be okay.
Cool.
All right. So the way that we're gonna know, like when you're deep frying, the way that we're gonna know that we're ready to go is our chicken's gonna float, and that is always a telltale sign of knowing that something is fully cooked when it's frying. It will float. See, now you got good control. It's going nice and low. I think you'll be fine going that frying. All right, so now it's just a waiting game. You know, this letting it go. And you talk about sides. You know, what do you eat with fried chicken? You know, I know here at Ina May, it's mac and cheese and more mac and cheese. But you know, collard greens we sell a lot with our fried chicken. Biscuits go really, really well. That's what we should. We should make some biscuits one day, Amanda.
Ryan, let's do it. That sounds great.
Yeah.
I think I only want to cook when you're on screen with me now.
I know, this was
Ryan.
You got it. Yeah, I got it.
I loved it.
I got you.
It's like he's looking right into like your kitchen. It's so
I know. It makes me feel so confident that I can't screw it up.
Oh yeah, Brian, actually another good idea would be mac and cheese, because I've actually tried to make that a few times for the kids over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And one time I did a good job and the other time I did not. So I think we need tips there.
No, yeah, we could do
He's
some mac and
laughing,
cheese.
but Peggy, have you ever tried? I just unmuted you. Have you ever tried to make mac and cheese, Peggy?
Very good at it. To be honest, I'm not.
It's a very hard thing to do. I even tried the one where you use like cottage cheese in the recipe and you mix it all together with stuff and then like bake it so you're avoiding making like the creamy sauce. And one time it was good and one time it was not good.
That would be good with champagne also.
And what is not good with champagne? Everything.
Exactly.
Everything is. All right. Yes, that's a good idea, Sam and Brandon Diaz. We should have two chefs doing mac and cheese. That's actually an amazing idea, Sarah. We need to note that for May.
Yeah, I'm down.
Bill Kim's throwing out all these good ideas. Bill Kim has good ideas. Kimchi would be a good class, Bill. That's what I saw you throw out.
Oh, kimchi would be great.
I want to learn how to make that.
I want to take that class.
Kimchi would also go with the fried chicken, which I think it would. Bill also makes an awesome fried chicken at Urban Belly. I ordered from there last week, and oh my God, that was unbelievable. It was so good.
Yeah, Bill Kim actually came and trained with me in New Orleans and learned how to make fried chicken about 20 years ago.
Are you serious? Sarah, Bill, can we unmute Bill? Oh, Bill, I'm unmuting you and Yvonne. I think. Wait, hold on. I'm trying to.
He said tostones with fried chicken. That's a good idea too.
Oh, all right, Bill and Yvonne are now officially unmuted if they want to.
Yes, Bill learned from the best.
There you go.
Right.
So 20 years ago, you guys worked together in New Orleans. Come on.
Yeah, he showed me how to play football. Football.
Do that.
How y'all doing? Y'all good?
Yeah.
We're doing good.
Good to see y'all.
Good to
Good to
see
see
you.
you.
All right, so last night we got this question too because Tony Priolo made arancini, and there were a lot of vegetarians and also people who were concerned about gluten-free. So are there any tips for making gluten-free fried chicken, Brian?
Tell me that again.
Gluten-free fried chicken.
Oh, gluten-free fried chicken. Oh, yeah, you shouldn't do that.
What? It doesn't work? Does it not work?
No, I'm just kidding. No, there are ways now to do good gluten-free chicken. I don't know how to do it, but
We'll do
I'll
some
figure it out.
research.
It's at the end of the day, it's still about seasoning. you know, and like, so if you're using a product that is gluten-free for your dredge, you know, if you season it properly, you're still gonna get a good product. And like I said, you know, even like going straight up cornstarch, you know, going straight up potato starch that's seasoned properly, you can still get a good product.
Because Brian, there's all those other flours too, right? Like tapioca flour and coconut flour and all that other kind of stuff.
It's a ton of options out there now, you know, where it used to be a lot harder to try to find substitutes for that type of stuff.
Right.
Rice flour is great for chicken as well. Really, really crispy, crunchy exterior.
Fried chicken is a never-ending delight and joy, no matter what style.
I mean, chicken tenders, chicken wings. I think Belinda, you have some of the flavored wings that we have at Mariano's. Yeah, but there are so many delicious ways to eat.
I just ate the boneless barbecue one. I've been snacking on that all day. It's freaking delicious. Mm-hmm.
So Bailey says that she likes to use tapioca and coconut flour with rice breadcrumbs.
Oh, nice.
That it comes very close, but it's not the same.
That's very couture fried chicken, Bailey.
Yeah, fancy.
So mine's in the oven because it was getting a little brown. So I figured since, as Chef noticed, my chicken breast I didn't pound. So mine's in the oven right now, Chef. I think maybe just a couple minutes and it'll be together.
Yeah, yours is in the oven right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great.
What's the typical fry time if you're doing it straight up with regular cuts?
Say that again.
How long does it usually take to fry a piece? Are you just watching for the color?
So like anything bone in, you know, you're looking at more in that like 9-minute range.
Oh.
Breasts, bone-in breasts are going to be more like 12 to 14 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Going at the temperature that we're frying at right now.
Cool. I can't wait.
I know, me either. Brian, while we're waiting, I'd like for you to tell everyone about, the reason why I asked you to participate tonight was because I have your menus for pickup and delivery look amazing from both restaurants. And I love at Frontier, you're doing the fried chicken sandwich kits, which I think is super fun. And you have the dinner for 4. So can you tell everyone about your delivery and pickup?
Yeah, so, you know, when all of this went down, we had to get really creative with the way that we ran the business. And the large format, you know, family style stuff is what I've done for so long at Frontier. And so it just kind of fit, you know, and so in addition to the 4 for $44 meal, so we have a fried chicken sandwich kit. We have a pulled pork like slider kit. On Wednesdays, we do smoked brisket slider kits, you know, with everything, the sides and the sauce and everything, just to make it kind of like easy, to give some versatility, to still have, you know, people be able to like build their things and stuff like that in the kitchen. So it's not as much of a full-on job, but you still get a little action. And those have gone over really well. I've actually been doing virtual cooking classes where we package everything, all the raw product, and then I go on Instagram Live, and people, they buy it from us, come pick up their kits, and then we cook together on Instagram Live. And those have been received very well, you know, too. We have fried chicken and bingo, virtual bingo tomorrow. That's going to be out of Ina May.
I saw that. That looks great.
What?
Yeah, a lot of fun, you know, and so making the best out of the situation and trying to survive as a business has really put us in a spot where we're going to keep creating, you know.
We know it's really hard on all of you. I know Bill's on, and we know it's so hard right now. We really want to do what we can to support you. And I know yesterday we had a little practice, and you were out serving 300 meals. Tell everyone about that.
Yeah, so we partnered with Beam Suntory yesterday to give out some shift meals, we call them, and so industry, all hospitality industry folks were invited. We did about 100 meals yesterday, where people just came up and they just picked up and went on their way. But it was good. It was good to see some industry folk. It was good to help out, and we want to continue to do things like that, you know, while we're still, you know, experiencing this.
Right.
You know, we sent a lot of food over to hospitals for the nurses, the doctors, you know, all of these first responders who are not only putting their lives at risk every day, but, you know, just working hours, sacrificing themselves and their families. So we appreciate that.
And then do you have a fund set up for your team, like a GoFundMe or a contribution fund?
No, we've had quite a few people that have called in and asked for ways to give assistance to our staff. We opted not to go on the route of a GoFundMe, but we have had, you know, numerous donations from some of our regulars and some of the people that are just ordering off of Grubhub and the different platforms like that. And that's been we've been very appreciative for that. And that also helps us be able to provide some of the meals and some of the things that we've been doing, you know, for our staff as well. So, you know, we're in it together. You know, I talk to so many people in the industry almost every day. And it's very impressive how we've all come together, you know, as a community in the hospitality industry. And I'm very grateful for how the people of Chicago have helped and how they've supported us restaurants as we you know, we just go through this.
Right. Yeah, this is an unprecedented time. So we're all in this together. We all have to remember that, and eat fried chicken.
Fried chicken.
And drink bubbles.
Fried chicken.
All better.
Check mine.
All right, so I'm gonna let y'all see this.
I'm very excited to see Belinda's. This is
Mine looks good. It looks good.
Oh, Belinda. My goodness.
Let me see that, Belinda. Let me see that chicken.
I think it looks good.
There we go. Nice.
Oh, that looks
Nice.
great.
All right, so it's hot.
Oh my gosh. Brian,
Oh.
amazing.
So yeah, I mean, it was floating, nice and golden brown. It's extremely hot, very crispy. You can now fry chicken whenever you want.
Looks good. I can't wait.
Belinda's looks delicious. Yours looks amazing, Brian. This was so fun to see this, and I'm still a little bit scared, but I'll do it. I'll try it.
Just look. We're here to fry all the chicken that you could ever want at Ina May.
I know. I'd rather just
so-
get it from you.
Look, we'll figure out that delivery thing to your area.
I know. I know. I was trying all day, so I'm glad that now I know that you can help me next time.
Yeah.
All right. There was one question that didn't get answered. Someone wanted to know what your favorite fried chicken is in New Orleans, since you're from there.
Favorite fried chicken in New Orleans is Willie Mays for sure.
Oh my gosh, I went to Willie Mays once. It was great.
Willie Mays Scotch House, huh?
Willie Mays. Willie
I'm
Mays.
sorry. Oh, you say you've been there? Oh, yeah. No, it's good. It's good. Good stuff. They use a batter. They batter their chicken. They don't dry dredge like we just did. They use a wet dredge.
Oh.
Yeah. But it's good stuff.
Awesome. All right. So I think I'm looking for more questions. Do we have anything else, Brian or Belinda, we want to tell everyone before, sadly, we're going to have to sign off? I don't like to sign off because I really love that we're all here together. But I don't really see any other questions.
No.
All right.
Follow us on Instagram, Frontier Chicago, as well as Anime Tavern, to keep a tab on all the crazy stuff that we have going on with all of our specials and everything. So we got a lot of fun things coming up. So tune in.
You are making it fun, Jupe. So thank you for that. Everything looks really great that you're doing. All right, we'll give a final cheers.
Cheers.
We have a great event tomorrow night for Mariano's. If you have time, we're doing a mixology session with Monkey Shoulder, and we're going to make pantry cocktails. And then next week, We have a full lineup as well. We have Chef Lamar Moore on Tuesday. We have Belinda Chang doing rosé all day, which we're very excited about, on Wednesday. And then we have an Irish whiskey mixology session. Every Friday we have live music. This Friday is Russell, who we've actually had in the stores many times. And Miss Jamie's here for the kids. I know, Brian, you have a daughter, so we have kid concerts on the weekend. And I know Jupe has some events, so we'll post about his as well. And Belinda, tell everyone about your boozy brunch before we sign off.
So every Sunday at 2 p.m. Central Time, and in all of the other time zones around the world, we have 400 people join us for brunch. So it's really fun. We actually do cooking demos just like you're doing, Brian, which is so great. So we've already sent out recipes for this week, and if you'd like to join us, we can send them out to you. We're doing savory crepes and all the fancy pancakes. We're doing appams, and we're doing crispelli with Sarah Grunberg. So I love this, Chef, because I got to cook with you. It felt like I was cooking with you.
That was actually really great. Like, that was awesome.
So cool. And we do mixologists, some of the greatest bartenders in the world. You get to make drinks with them. And then, you get to drink with me. So every Sunday, and everybody's welcome. I see a lot of regulars from virtual boozy brunch here in the group. So I will see all of you Sunday, and I hope many more of you will join us. It's just a fun, bright moment on a Sunday afternoon.
Awesome. And then we have Bill Kim's fried rice class coming up also April 26th. So everything's posted on our Eventbrite. But everyone, please stay safe. Make sure you're sheltering in place and cooking up a storm. And we'll see you tomorrow or next week. So thanks everyone. Final cheers.
Thank you.
Thanks.